Oh, it's 5:10 in the morning. And what am I doing out here? The sun's coming up. I'm at the foot of a mountain known as the old Man of Coniston, and I'm on a mission. What's the mission, you may ask? I'll tell you later. Till then, let's enjoy the sunrise. Thought I'd say a few words before I run out of breath. As you can see, the going's pretty easy at the base. Gets tougher near the top. Slept out of bed this morning. Didn't have a wash. Didn't have a shave. Didn't clean my teeth. Just got myself out here. And I'm talking now because later on I probably won't have the breath to talk. As usual, I haven't done a lot of exercise lately, and I'm now going up this almost 3,000 foot mountain. Just ducked into the shadow of the early morning sunrise. Still breathing like I'm going to have an heart attack, and I haven't even got to the hard bit yet. Anyway, I'll just pop the camera away for half an hour or so and just enjoy this nice gentle stroll. And I am enjoying it because normally this track is so popular. Later on today, and especially at the weekends, it'll become like a motorway for people. But if you get out of bed early enough, and I've done this on a couple of occasions, the last time in the middle of winter, it can be very enjoyable. Just you, the mountain, and the peace and tranquility. Just stop for a 5-minute break. There's not much point flogging yourself to the top and not enjoying the view. Just thought I'd point out something that niggles me a little bit sometimes. Whenever you're walking in the Lake District, you'll find people have started moving the stones and making cairns. This is quite a big pile here. What you're doing is you're moving stones that don't want to be moved. I'm always banging on about leaving the environment as you find it. Some people will say it's to aid navigation. Well, you've seen the width of this track, and if you're going to come up somewhere like this, you should be able to navigate. You should be able to use a map and compass, and if the conditions are such that you can't manage without following a line of these and a big footpath, then you shouldn't be up here in those conditions. So I'm not going to condemn anybody for building these cairns, but it's just something I'm not that keen on. Some people think these are the remnants of the old mine workings. Well, they are actually. The old miners used to trudge up here, but they had this cable car system to bring the ore down. And what purpose is it serving now? It gives me something to cling on to stop myself falling over. Lovely. One third of the way, 2/3 to go. So here we are, in the ruins of the old mine workings. I'm actually in the office, what was the office. Now you might think I'm very knowledgeable about that. Not the case. There's a sign behind me, says it was the office. I like the fact that they put a notice up, and I hope people take note of it, to do exactly what I mentioned earlier about leaving things as you find it. It's sad to think that you have to put a notice up to stop people stealing historical artefacts from here. Well, I could ramble on about this place, but I don't know that much about it without looking it up. Unfortunately, as usual with me, whenever I pass this place with anybody, I just bring the level of conversation down to toilet talk. You see, having camped on this site a couple of times, I just can't go past it without pointing out that I had a poo just over there. Don't ask me why, but I never go past here without mentioning it. Ah well, that's brought the conversation down to my level. Let's get on. I missed my wash this morning. That'll suffice. You can't beat having a good wash in the morning in sheep feces. Okay. Next, all we've got to do is go up there. I've just been overtaken. Thought I had the mountain to myself. So what's the problem with that, you may say? Nothing really. It's just, I know he was at least 35, 40 years younger than me. But I've always hated being overtaken. And it niggles. My wife used to say, why do you always have to be so competitive? I don't know. I'm going to have to maybe do some yoga or something and tell myself that you reach an age where you've got to stop being competitive, or you're going to have a heart attack. Yeah, bugger. Right, let's get after him. I've now reached the stage where I have to forget about the top, forget about what's in front, and just do the old thing of one foot in front of the other and focus on nothing else. What I should be doing is going, right, upwards and onwards, let's go! Yes, full of enthusiasm. Bugger that. One foot in front of the other. Here we go. It's one thing being overtaken, but you don't have to rub it in by playing king of the castle. The top. Well, what was the mission? Well, you saw me rummaging around in those stones. And the story is that 6 years ago, when my wife unfortunately developed breast cancer, I wanted to give her some incentive to come up here. And the reason being, this is her favourite mountain. We came here on our first date, camped part of the way up, and then walked to the top and along the top the next day. So it's a special place for her. So while she was having her chemotherapy, it was Christmas, and I gave her a stone. Just a normal, plain old round stone. And I wrote her name on it, and I carried it to the top here on New Year's Day, early in the morning. and I put it under a rock. And I told her that her mission in life was to get well enough to walk back up here and collect her stone. Which she did. It took her forever. Normally it takes me a couple of hours, not about an hour and 45 minutes to get up here and an hour to get down. It took her 7 hours and she struggled every step of the way, which we can take a look at a few photos and videos here. Now the problem was that when she got to the top, I knew roughly where it was through bearings and pacing, but I'd logged it on my GPS. Unfortunately, in the preceding 12 months, I'd got a new GPS, and I brought that instead of the old one, so I couldn't locate the stone. She nearly froze to death. I got frowned upon because I put her through all this pain and we couldn't find the stone. So on a nice day, today, I've come back up to find it. And after 6 years of thinking about it, wondering about it, I've finally come to the area, and there are so many stones. There was actually, where I thought it was previously, a cairn that had been built on top, and so I couldn't tell where the stone was. Now I've come, the cairn has been obliterated, which is what you saw me scrambling through over there, and I still haven't found the stone. The nearest I found to it, and remember it was oval in shape, and among all those stones there was only one oval one, and that was it. Now I'm reasonably sure that wasn't the stone, but I'm going to take it back to her because I know it was near the stone that I brought up, and so this can be a new stone. And it'll be something to remember of all the great times we've had up here. So let's just pop this back in my pocket and get ourselves back down, and hopefully we'll be in time for breakfast. Oh, this time I should point out that I found the old GPS and it's still got the location on, so I brought it with me, so I know I was looking in exactly the right place this time. I'm going to finish off with a bit of advice. If you're somebody who doesn't do mountain walking very often, don't be fooled by the weather. When I came up it was absolutely glorious, and you see people coming up in the summer in t-shirts and trainers, and when you get to the top the temperature can be different. It was warm this morning, but the clouds are rolling in now, the temperature's dropping. And if it started to rain, you could end up in very serious trouble. Hypothermia is one of those things that could hit you. So, if you're not used to going up mountains, get a bit of advice. Make sure you've got the right equipment, and make sure that should this mist close in completely, you've got a map and compass, and a GPS ideally, and that you know how to use them. Stay safe.